what's going on, guys? It's Alex at the Subnautics, and today we are looking at Z Fold 6 cases. I know it's a little late, but I do have 5 cases that I've scoured the internet for that I do think can give you the coverage that you want to make your phone unique. And so let's take a look at these 5 cases. And also I wanted to note that none of these are OEM cases. So in some cases, they're actually a little bit more expensive than the ones from Samsung. So a third party doesn't always mean that it's cheaper. But nonetheless, these are 5 cases. This is the Latercase, and it is the thinnest case you can possibly get for the Fold 6. At least I think it is. Think peel case, but for a foldable, and that's essentially what this is. It's amazing just how thin this thing is. Just look at that. With aramid fibers handling protection from scratches, the thin case isn't going to offer, obviously you can look at it, it's not going to offer the best protection. However, it does keep your camera safe with that little raised lip there. I actually think it actually makes the cameras look a lot cooler than they do initially. One huge negative though is just look at how oily this gets, and this is just from summer in my hands and my natural fingertip oils. Just look at that. That is pretty nasty there. So you're going to have to keep a microfiber cloth handy, and you're going to have to actually wipe this thing quite often. But other than that, I do think this is a very good looking phone. So even after wiping it, you still get some of that. And on the top, in the front side here, it does offer a little bit of lip protection, as you can see here. And this does use adhesives for the front cover display. So that's a little bit of adhesive required for the cover display to latch onto this. And I was going to say, because it's slightly raised like this, you're going to attract a lot of dust and hair, as you can see in this video already. And these are kind of hard to get off, because then you gotta scrape it like that to try to get it off. It does catch a lot of dust and hair just from my pant pocket and sometimes in a bag. So those are some negatives, but I have not used a case on a Fold where I felt like it was a naked phone, and this is as close as it's going to get for me. At 0.6 millimeters thin, this thing is really thin, and I've been using this basically every single day since I've gotten it. Cutouts aren't the most perfect. You see, it's not perfectly even, but it does leave it exposed, which at the end of the day, that's all that matters. So yeah, I love this case. This is one of my favorite cases right now for the Z Fold 6. When it comes to making fold cases, Torras is the gold standard. I really do feel fairly confident in making that statement, because I have used Torras cases on multiple generations of Z Folds, and this Torras magnetic case is no different. It is one of the best cases, in my opinion, that offers kind of like a hybrid of what you want a case to be. It's thin enough where it doesn't kind of protrude in your pant pocket, and yet it does offer enough bumper protection where, it could actually hit the floor and not scratch. So I do think Torras is a great case maker for Samsung Z Folds. Once again, it's not the slimmest of cases out there, but in my opinion, this is the best overall case. And it is a very expensive device. This phone is very expensive, so you do want to offer protection. However, like a lot of thinner cases out there, I would say, the hinge is not protected here. So unfortunately, last year on my other Z Fold 5, I did actually ding this part up. So if you're looking for a case that needs to protect the hinge, this is not the one for you. However, I do think the bumper is really nice, and it actually feels nice to grip. This is one of my favorite cases to grip onto. This case also doesn't require adhesives for the front cover display. So that's one of the nicer things about this. It's not going to leave residual glue or anything on there, so it just pops off. With that said, though, on the cover display, when you have this case on, this part here does wiggle out. You see that? Because it isn't glued on. There's no adhesives on there. So that is one downside. When you're swiping, sometimes it can flap out. But other than that, I mean, this is one of the best cases you can get. and it offers pretty decent protection with a little bit of a lip for the camera here, and it's still exposed. All the right ports are exposed. So yeah, one of my favorite cases, Torras. They did it again for this, and it also is magnetic, as the name states. All right, the S Pen is extremely limited in functionality on the Folds because the cover display doesn't work with it. However, if you're looking for an official Samsung Z Fold case with a pen, this one's the previous model, Z Fold 5s, well, I got one here that looks exactly the same. This is for the Z Fold 6, except for the S Pen. So this thing, once you clap it out, there we go. As you can see here, it comes with a tip. It works with the cover display, whereas an actual S Pen will not. So, I mean, there is trade-offs there. If you really want to work on your you really want to work with your cover display using a pen, well, you got this. And the case actually looks very similar to the Samsung official case here. And the cool thing about this is, let's say you did have the pen from last year's model, which I do here, toss that aside, compare the S Pens, this actually does lodge into place as well. So, I mean, it literally is Samsung's case, and it actually feels just like Samsung's case as well, and it has the flaws of Samsung's case as well, too. As you can see, the fingerprints in my, my fingerprints from my moisture and the oils on my finger, they do latch on pretty easily. The other thing, the front side, they actually have an entire, I guess, case here. It covers the entire front display. I don't like covering it up like that, but I'll just mount it really quickly so you have an idea of what it looks like. So this is what the screen looks like with that display. And the back and the front, it's pretty good coverage overall, actually. And it fits the phone pretty well. The cutouts aren't perfect, but I mean, it still exposes it enough that it's logical and it works. So I do like a cheap S Pen case, if you can call it that. Let's see. So if I pull out the S Pen, obviously, this is the official Samsung S Pen. As you can see, it just doesn't work with the front display. However, it does work when the screen is opened up here. That's the whole point of the S Pen, because the S Pen only works with the display opened up like this, and it doesn't work with the cover display. So if you really wanted to, once again, you can use this, the one that comes with this case, and operate the cover screen. So it is kind of cool. And for a low price, hey, it kind of works. Unfortunately, like the official case, this does not have room for magnetic accessories, so you can't use your MagSafe stuff on it, but it's a trade-off. If you are really looking for something to lodge a pen in, this is a good option without shelling out the full price for the official Samsung version for the Z Fold 6. The first case I actually purchased to work with my Z Fold 6 was this one, the Makavo bumper case. And this case is the most unique out of all the ones that I currently have because it's one piece. It actually is mounted together with its own hinge here, as you can see there. It's kind of flimsy, but it does hold together. And what you're supposed to do is just snap it on, and it becomes a bumper case. What this does also offer is a tempered glass front screen protector, essentially, for the cover display. So let's wipe this up. I personally am not a huge fan of these types of all-in-one tempered glass screen protectors built into the case. I rather have just the lip itself, and I can install my own tempered screen protector directly onto the screen. I prefer that better. I do feel like the quality is better. However, this one's not too bad. It's still responsive. It's I don't see any latency issues. So, I mean, it works well enough still. The only thing I have to note about this front cover display screen protector is that fingerprints reside on this much more frequently than on tempered glass ones that I install on my own phones when I do them. So It's the material. It really is. I don't really like these cover display ones once again, but you just got to wipe it quite often. And as you can see, it kind of smears on there a little bit. However, the backside is where the fun's at because one, as you can see, there is this MagSafe ring. So yes, magnetic accessories do work, and it's pretty strong here. It holds well. Once again, no hinge protection like a lot of cases out there for the Z Fold. It is relatively thin, but it still offers decent bumper protection. So also one more thing to note is that the volume rockers are covered. They actually have buttons here, and the only thing exposed is the power button fingerprint scanner. And there's a little engraved like groove here that it's perfect stopper for your finger instead of overshooting it. So I do like these little design aspects and details that they do to make your everyday life feel a little easier when you use this case. There's no adhesives on this one as well. So I do think this is pretty nice to look at. And I do like how the back cover, the back display here, has kind of like a mirror shine to it. You can still see through it and actually see the color of your phone, but it gives it kind of like a shine, so it's a little bit like a mirror reflection. I do like that a lot. Otherwise, this is a very good starter case, and I do think it'll be very sufficient for a lot of people out there. A case list cannot be complete without at least one Spigen case on it, right? The Ultra Hybrid Pro case certainly has, I guess, a certain vibe to it if you look at this. This one is called the 01 variant, and it mimics, I guess you can say, the inside of your smartphone. I guess this is what the battery looks like. I don't think this is the actual layout of the Z Fold. It's just a generic one. But, you know, it is some unique design here compared to just the plain black and white cases that we always see. So although it's not ultra realistic, I do think it has something going for it because, let's snap this thing on. So you can see here, hinge protection. There's an actual hinge protection here. And usually with a hinge protection, that does make the case slightly more bulky, and it does the same here. The front cover one, as you can see, there's no actual screen, I guess, protector on it, which is good, but you do need a lot of adhesives to kind of lock this in. And I don't like adhesives on the phones. However, I'm just going to snap this on without that adhesive so you can see how it looks like. And there you go. It does add a bit of bulk behind, I guess, two phone layout, because the Z Fold basically is, when it's folded together, two smartphones combined. So it is slightly thick as it is. It's not the worst thing when you hold it without a case, but once you add the little bulk behind it with the case, it does add up and it does feel chunkier. But the trade-off, though, is that you do get all this protection on the hinge. So when you do drop it potentially, you have all that protection here on the hinge. That is one of the benefits of having something like this to protect the hinge. Other than, I mean, if you really like this design here and this look. The other note I do have for this is, although I do think the hinge protection is great, and I do think this case overall is solid, as I'm pretty confident it will protect against scratches and also bumps when you drop it. I do not like this plastic material. It's extremely, extremely slippery. It just does not feel great to grip for a long time. And that's just how this type of case is. You can actually see this, and you can actually see the marks on the case easier because it is somewhat translucent. It feels like a cheaper plastic. This polycarbonate material of the case makes it really extremely prone to smudges and oil from fingers. So not my favorite case, but I do think it has a unique design, and it is from Spigen. So there is definitely some name recognition here for this brand as well. So there you go. These are the 5 Samsung Z Fold cases I've been using for the Fold 6 for the past couple months. Which one do you like? Which one matches your lifestyle best? Let me know in the comments below. And if you have any other really cool cases that you think work better for the Z Fold 6, let me know. I'm always looking for better ones. Once again, I'm Alex from the Semnotics, and I'll see you guys in the next video.